Hey, welcome back to the channel. Tim here. Have you ever looked around and thought, when did the world start moving so fast? Right? One week you're mastering email, and the next week your grandkids are talking to an AI chat box that actually does their homework. I know, throws me off too. It's really easy to be overwhelmed today, but there's a reason for that. And I'm going to show you why change feels so hard and how you can stay calm, confident, and relaxed, or not maybe not relaxed, but more resourceful through no matter what the world throws at you. And we are in chaotic times right now. There's change is just rapid, as you know. Now, our brains were designed for survival. All right, and I think we're still not using like 90% of it. I know science says that we only use 10% of our brain. So it's still uncharted territory, right? We have the most powerful biocomputer between our ears. The only problem is when we ended up on this planet, nobody gave us an owner's manual for it. So again, just to reiterate, our brains were designed for survival, not constant updates, right? Which is what's happening now. Things are changing, update after update. So like something familiar disappears, maybe a store, your favorite store closes, or maybe you have a new app to learn on your phone. The brain treats it like a mini threat. And when any mini threat, it doesn't matter how small or how big, your body goes into what's called fight or flight mode. And this goes back to our ancestors in the Stone Age. We're hardwired for the stress response, which is fight or flight. And this goes back just to give you kind of an idea how this works. The hunter gatherer, right? He goes out, the caveman, he's going out looking for food. He's walking through the brush. He's got a spear in his hand. And all of a sudden, 50 yards away, charging right at him is a saber-toothed tiger. Now, certain things happen in his body automatically. His eyes get bigger, right? His pupils dilate so he can see everything. All the blood, normally our blood stays close to where we're at in our near our solar plexus, where the heart is located. When you go into fight or flight mode, it starts circulating out into your extremities so you can run. So basically, what that fight or flight response is, he can stay with that spear and face that saber-toothed tiger and fight it, or he can run like heck, right? That's the fight or flight response. Now, this happens to us whether we know it or not, depending on the threat to a more or lesser degree. So again, our brains were geared for this and our bodies are wired for this. So when you when you face something overwhelming or something change that you don't understand, your body's going to do a little mini fight or flight response, right? And what does this do? Well, it triggers stress hormones. You start shooting out cortisol, adrenaline, right? Because the body literally thinks it's in danger. For boomers, there's another layer. We grew up in a world that moved and changed at a much slower pace. These changes now, I remember the days when technology would double every 3 to 5 years. And then it got down to about every 3 to 6 months. I don't know what it is now, but it's probably close to weekly, right? So I know I was born in a very small town in rural Pennsylvania, about 5,000 people. And I grew up around the time the Andy Griffith Show was on. Do you remember the Andy Griffith Show? If you're in the US, the Andy Griffith Show was a small town, fictional town in North Carolina, South Carolina, Raleigh, was near Raleigh, called Mayberry, and just a small little sleepy town. Uh, Things move slow, very little change, right? Even Andy Taylor, the sheriff, didn't even wear a gun because there wasn't too much happening there. But that's what it reminds me of. That's my childhood. Now, I live in Florida and I live in a city and it's busy. But that's not even the biggest part of it is the change going on, political, geopolitical, financial, technology alone. Look at AI. AI is changing the game for everything. So that's the layer. The speed of this technology, it's outpacing our comfort zone. And that's the problem. So if you're feeling anxious or frustrated, congratulations, your brain's doing its job. All right. When we can't keep up, it's easy to make it mean something about us. In other words, we feel less than. wow, I can't do this anymore. And then we start making excuses for ourselves, right? I know I used to do that. It's like, I didn't come up with this stuff, right? That's the rallying cry for most boomers in technology. I didn't come up with this stuff. And my answer is always the same. I think I learned it from Gary Vaynerchuk, a business guru. And he said, you didn't come up with driving either, but at age 16, you learned how to do it, right? So, if you're feeling anxious, like, and frustrated, your brain's doing its job, but you have to get past it, and you need to use a couple of techniques. I'm going to give you 3 here, but here's the truth. Change isn't an IQ test. All right? It's not, has nothing to do with your intelligence. It's actually a muscle test. And you're not broken, you're just out of practice. All right? Resilience or any of these things are like a muscle. The more you do it, the better you get at it. It's like anything else. All right? So let's talk about 3 simple tools that can help you handle change without losing your cool. Tool number 1, the pause button. You ever had a pause button? Yeah, we got it on a tape player, right? CD player, doesn't matter. Your DVD player, doesn't matter. You got a pause button. So the pause button is when you hit that moment of frustration, the phone update, the confusing website, just stop and pause and do a breath cycle. This is called the 4-7-8 breath. And what this does is reset your nervous system. And it's very, very simple. You inhale, close your mouth, inhale through your nose through a count of 4. And then you hold it for a count of 7. And then you let it out slowly through a count of 8. So I'll do it with my fingers to show you what I'm doing and how to do this. All right. So you're doing 4 in, holding for 7, exhale. Okay, I'm going to take you through that. Inhale for a count of 4. Here we go. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do that 4 times, 4 cycles. That'll reset your nervous system. Your thinking brain comes back online, and suddenly that mountain that looks so ominous, and it's climbable again. That's how effective this is. I used to do this every day. Breathing techniques are a great way to reset your body, reset your nervous system. Let's keep going though. Tool number 2, the reframe. Reframing is a technique that works for a lot of different things. My favorite, it's basically what it is taking a situation, an event, anything that happens in your life, and putting a different frame around the picture. All right. So instead of saying, I can't do this, or I can't learn this, or I, how do you replace that? You say, I haven't learned this yet. Right? It sends a signal to your brain. That single word yet turns the panic switch off and turns on curiosity. And now our brain is going from fear to problem solving, right? So it's a very effective technique. And tool number 3, micro wins. What's a micro win? Well, forget massive leaps. Forget, I'm going to learn this whole program, this new software program in a weekend. Forget that. Forget that. Forget that. Just learn, pick one small change and celebrate it. And do that every day. See, what I found, it's like success. Success is incremental. Nobody just lands their overnight success. It seems that way, but they don't do it. It's incremental, right? And it's the same with dealing with change and becoming more resilient. So forget the massive leaps again. One little thing a day. Learn one new phone app, right? Or maybe one new phone feature on your phone. If you take a walk every day, walk 5 extra minutes. Reconnect with a friend, an old friend you haven't heard from in years. Reconnect with them online. Just one little win every day, because momentum beats perfection every single time. So you got to remember too, folks, that change isn't the enemy. It's life reminding us that we're still in the game. The more we practice pausing, reframing, and celebrating those wins, even the small ones, the stronger that resilience muscle becomes. Now, if this message hits home, let me know in the comments. I want to know your comments. I want this to be interactive for us. I'm going to bring you a lot of good content that's going to help you get through the change and become more resilient and more stronger than ever. So what's one change you've handled better than expected? And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss next week's video or any of them. And just remember, resilience isn't about age, it's about attitude. I'll see you next week.